play a game.
Bugger. Greetings, Melbourne train bogan. Yes, I like that. Sorry, I'm still eating my toast. Live with it. I don't know why TSC's not showing it. Worked fine last night when I set all this up before I went to bed. How's that then? Okay, good. What are we going to do? Hello, C, Melbourne train guy, otherwise known as Melbourne train bogan. Michael Bogan, C Bogan, Victron Bogan. Who else we got? Wesley Bogan. There we go. Anybody else who happens to be watching as well. Hello. All right. It's just the first stream for the new year. I don't know. No, I don't think it is. Happy New Year anyway. To all the bogans. Me included, clearly. I'm still eating my toast, sorry, but let's get something moving. TSC software. Yes. Raildriver stuff. But it's not Raildriver. It's okay. Start. Okay. Good. I reckon we might start with this one. I don't know. Is it a stopper? I would really want a stopper. I would assume that's a stopper because, you know, it's only got... let's try it. It's 5 minutes longer than a stopper. It must be a stopper. In the emu. Do a pendo run? How? First service at True calling to Polesworth will leave from Rugby. Due to inclement weather, please begin by coupling to the 351 unit in front of you. Right, for someone who hasn't read the manual, that's a relatively scary thing to do. Is the TSC software going to work? Yes. Okay. Right. Why is that windscreen wipers? Okay, I understand that. We'll do it this way. Daylights. That's about all we need to do on this, isn't it? Instrument lights. And do we dare? Doesn't have safety systems. Okay. Will this work? Yes. Does it have a brake handle? No. Oh, hang on. Duh. Right, there we go. Gonna move. Right, oh, it's backwards. Okay. Right. Push it away to go forwards. Right. Which clearly works pretty good. More push? More? Oh, got 100% power. Ah. Idiot. Oh, it does have safety systems. Look at that. That's going backwards. That's not what we want. So this is backwards too. Good. Hello, Rails. Hello, Forza Train. My apologies for munching in your ears. Hopefully the voice filter is pulling out the toast noises. A couple of derail it. Once you are sitting comfortably in the south-facing cab, please proceed down the down slow reverse marker, ensuring your sort of train is stopped at the marker. Today you'll be trialling SDO. Oh, brilliant. Good. Love it. Not. Headlights off. Reverse it to neutral. And that should be all we need to do in here. We should be able to just go to the other cab now. Now the question is, which one is the south-facing cab? Not that one. I don't think it's that one. It's probably that one. I'm guessing. So you're not supposed to open doors or anything? We're just supposed to go? Okay. All right then. Works. I don't understand why we're not picking up passengers here, you know? I'm going to do it anyway. Because I can. Why? Because it gives me time to finish my bloody toast. Not in service. Right. No headlights either. Am I supposed to... Oh, select destination. How do we do that? Should have read the manual. Pushing buttons. So our destination's not actually there. Polesworth isn't there, is it? Alright. Rugby it is. We've just set where we're coming from. And that'll be fine. There we go. Perfect. Because that's where we are. Alright. Where we're going is not there. That's fine. How come it moved with the DRA on? It's not right, surely. Rugby down slows reverse in 0.36 miles. That makes sense. I will catch up with the chat after my toast. Right with you, see? What if we're going back into rugby? Would that make sense? I didn't get up on time, you see. I was awake plenty early, but then I watched a video about some bloke fixing a bulldozer, and then I watched a G Loves Trains video, and then I looked at the time and went, bugger. Right. So what have we got going on in the chat? Lots of people saying hi. Hi to everybody. Hi Rails. Hi Forza Train. Hi anybody else that's watching. Which variant is it of the 350? That's an excellent question. Where's my train moving? Change engine, take the plane into platform 2, collect your passengers. Okay. Why is my train rolling backwards? Oh well. Oh, apparently I'm not here anymore. Am I? Oh no, I am still here. Okay. Tail only? Or are we going to be going that way again? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's go down the other end. Let's go down the other end. Right. Daylights and instrument lights. Oh, that turns DRA on and off. Okay, now I understand. Off we go. Back into Rugby, where this time we'll pick up passengers. Nicholas, do you have the Antelope Valley Line? Yes, I do, in TSW, not in TSC. I can do this again. But it won't be here. So we'll just put Rugby. Because that is where we're going now. Bob, hello. I am well, thank you. MTG thinks it's a 350/1. MTG says been up since 3 AM. Bugger. That's not cool. It happens though. I thought it said it was snowing. Where's the snow? Didn't it say snow for the weather? Train Sim Classic, we love you. And it wanted me to stop at the 8-car marker, didn't it? But it doesn't actually. See, down here it says 0.4. So that's the 9-10 car marker. Shed. Where is it? Nicholas says, can you go to the Antelope Valley Line, get a close? No, we're in the wrong game. We're not in the same, we're not in Train Sim World. We're in Train Sim Classic. Oh, apparently I'm going to crew. Yes, Melbourne train guy, DRS shed. It is the Class 66 Bogan. Right away, apparently. That means I can do it. Ooh, he buzzed back. Excellent. Off we go then. Use this massive horn. Seems excessively large horn. Make like a commuter railway and give it all the beans. Wesley's on SCR, fair enough. I don't really give Roblox enough time. Why does my rail thing feel further away than usual?
Smoking is prohibited on this service. This includes the toilets which are fitted with sensitive smoke alarms.
No smoking propane on my train. Onto the down fist. I have invited the management of my railway onto my podcast. Let's see if they say yes. Full bananas. Off we go. What is it you wanted to see at Palmdale, Nicholas? You are now in the down fast. Make the most of the 110 mile per hour capability. Timetable is tight and the weather may be against you. Ah, that's where the snow's going to come from. Fair enough. Oh, neutral zones. MTG says that would be an interesting episode to watch. I hope they say yes. I kind of think they... Well, actually, I'm not going to guess. But there are some things happening on the railway that I'm not going to talk about. But there are things happening. We'll chat in person, Melbourne Train Guy. Wishka. Trent Valley in TSW is getting neutral zones, or it's only the Class 90 getting them? I don't know. Rainier, hello to you. $101 seems fair. No, we'll need to wait a little bit more information about TSW Trent Valley Railroad Vectron. There's pretty limited stuff out there. Look at that, the textures aren't fuzzy. A game that's 20 years old can do that. What? Melbourne Train Guy says, I hope we get overhead neutral zones. It's a real shame to have it in Shap, just assemble it in other routes. We know in modern trains they actually mean nothing. Because in modern trains you don't pay any attention to them whatsoever. Because the train just takes care of it. It's only on old trains you have to care about it. Hello, Eddie. Vectron loves neutral zones, even if it's an accessibility setting to enable and disable them for those that don't want to keep blowing up their 86s and 87s. Ooh, wipies. Well, at least I know the headlight switch on this thing does wipers. I could look at what it's programmed at for TSC, but whatever. Much to my amazement, it actually knows what this train is. Because it often goes, oh, you have to download it. But it seems to know that it's a Class 350 from Thompson. So maybe I've already sucked this route in, I don't know. I have driven a service on it, so maybe I have. More bananas. As we go into the wilderness. I still to this day think the water drops that turn up on the window are better in Train Sim Classic than the modern version in Train Sim World. Train Sim World actually had these water drops at the start and they took them out. I think that's sad. Shed. Oh, I know why I've done a service in this, and why I've configured it in the Train Sim Classic thing. It's because I gave up on the stupid S8 on the Central Line? Whatever it was. The London Underground one. C says TSC beats TSW in some aspects anyways. It does. Very much does. In some ways, TSW is the poor second cousin. Bob says, what does TSC cost these days? Think you're getting something to play it on. It's on sale at the moment for $23, or you can buy a subscription. The subscription, I think, is Australian on 16 a month, I think. Something like that. And you get a curated set of routes every month. So you'll get, I actually don't know how many's in it. I think when it first came out it was 6. I don't know if it's still 6. So those routes will turn up in your library and you can play them for the duration of that month, and then it changes to new ones. We have another neutral zone. Or I'm going too fast, one or the other. It hasn't come back. Maybe I'm going too fast. No, I can't switch it. It won't let me. Back to neutral? Then switch it? We'll just pretend that yellow light's a good thing. Uh-oh. Sniggles. Frostfire, hello. They container wagons, so they could be FKAs, could be FCAs. I don't know enough about them. We'll stop one and have a look. Real Lord Vectron says 802 on Riviera kind of does it, but not as good as it used to back in the 395. Single flashing yellow. Ah, snow. Cocaine is falling from the sky. Soon we'll hear high-powered business people going, I have no pantographs up. Well, what do we do about that then? Is there a panto up button? Can I not just put a panto up on the fly, maybe? 2 miles to Nuneaton. They're all doors. Yellow with a feather, that's fine. Should I read the manual? Look. It's off. Maybe I have to stop to put it up. I don't know. Or is that just a really long neutral zone and this is the end of it? No. Let's see what it does. Does it give power? No, clearly not. Could be manual reading time. Hello, casual. Bob says the AWS is going to deafen someone one of these days. Frostfire says magic power. Melbourne train guy would like to see a 158 pack. Skyhook make a TFW 158, Northern 158 and GWR 158. Good habit. Rivet could look at an EMT class 222 for the Midland Main Line, or even a 220 tarts it up. It's not Rivet's line though, is it? Midland Main Line? Isn't that Skyhook? I thought. Maybe you actually have to stop. Oh well, we'll roll into Nuneaton and we'll try and deal with it there. Rivet's train. Yes, I has broke it, you're right.
This train is for crew calling at Nuneaton, Atherstone, Polesworth, Tamworth, Lichfield, Trent Valley, Rugeley, Trent Valley, Stafford, Stone, Stoke-on-Trent, Kids Grove, Alsatia, and crew. The next stop is Nuneaton. Please remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
Currently loading the manual up. Right. Signal, speed signs, safety systems. Let me know when we get close, will you? Neutral sections, 15. So all you're supposed to do is put it back to off. But that's clearly not working. Real-time faults? What? Ah, I've got a fault. Okay. It's alright, we'll stop here and deal with it. Fortunately, its brakes work. Right, doors open. Auto dropping device activated. PTS. The pantograph lowers immediately on affected car. VCB opens. Panto VCB indicator. Ensure that necessary personal safety before proceeding. Investigate possible pantograph and overhead wire damage. If pantograph is not damaged, it may be possible to continue in service by ensuring the throttle brake lever is in the brake position is sent to raise the pantograph. Up to on if pantograph is extinguished and the train can continue. So how do we acknowledge that? Clear? Oh, okay, it's gone off anyway. So it's done it by itself. We can go then. Apparently. Oh, hang on, we're in neutral, aren't we? No, we're not. Alright, and it's green? It is green, good. Off we go to Atherstone then. Well, there you go, real-time faults. Who knew? Who knew? It does have announcements, you're correct. Hello, Right Away Productions, how are you? Bob's modelling on Melbourne Train Guy says, I think overhead neutral sections break electrical circuits. It's an old way of doing it. You don't need to do it. Because what they can do, in fact they actually are doing in the overhead there, is source it off 2 powers, but this route appears to be the old style. Modern trains, they don't actually matter at all, because modern trains actually have a bank of batteries to carry you through any neutral sections, so you might hear the big contact breakers go pop occasionally. You definitely hear them in Commings, but generally not in more modern equipment. Casual has turned off faults for TSW. Well, this isn't TSW, so you don't get a choice. You probably have got a way to turn them on and off, but whatever, we'll just keep going with it. Whee! Now, this one is a Armstrong production. I'll have to have a look and see which one, though, because there's a few Armstrongs. We might be going a little bit fast, just making up time. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. It's fine. Let's just flick back to the manual page and let's just have a look. Which Thompson is this? Thompson Interactive. There you go. Wouldn't want to attribute it to the wrong Thompson or anything. This is the down fast, right? No, it's not Armstrong Powerhouse, it's the other one. Thompson. Thompson Interactive. Which, for whatever reason, goes into a Armstrong directory. Shared. I can't read it. Atherstone coming up. Real Lord Vectron was getting tired of 100% TSR runs, even on lower currents.
Calling at Atherstone, Polesworth, Tamworth, Lichfield, Trent Valley, Rougeley, Trent
MTG
Valley,
says it looked like FNAs or FNAs. Could be.
Kids Grove.
When we see one stopped, we'll go have a look.
The next stop is Atherstone. Please remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
You might say you're tired of 100% TSRs, Real Lord Vectron, but that's reality on my railway. My last 4 shifts, we've had a 5-mile speed restriction. Which I have to say, as a learning driver, is a learning experience. Keeping a train under 5 miles an hour without it stopping is actually quite hard. The good doctor, who was my driver on Friday, he gave me a run, let me have a drive down the hill from Menzies Creek. And he and I discussed a different technique, which was utilising the independent brake. So you brake the train with the train brake, and once it all bunches up, you then apply the independent brake to roughly the same level and release the train brake. So it stays relatively smooth for the passengers. It's a little bit jostly, but it's not rough. And you keep the loco brake because the Westinghouse brakes, they're either on or they're off. There's no partly releasing them, whereas the independent brake, you can actually partly release it. So if it's on too strong, you can bring it down a bit, and if it's on not enough, you can bring it up a bit. So that worked quite well. That'll do. Door's open. Like it's been a criminal there, the boot's open. So this is how TSC used to handle textures. TSW is crisper. Oh look, we're outside the platform. I guess SDO works then. The next station is Polesworth. Very good. Off we go to Polesworth. Party on, dude. Eddie Hardigan says, am I seeing things? You do have a coloured light strip. I do have a couple of coloured light strips. That's what's changing the lights on the controller. And overhead above me, I have a massive coloured light strip that's literally 2 meters long. But I run it in warm white when I'm streaming. Because otherwise I'd change through all sorts of funny sorts of colours. MTG says, FFA or FGA, these acronyms are annoying. Acronyms are always annoying. Whenever I sit down, see, in my real work is IT outside my volunteer work on a railway. And I'll often sit down with someone like a vendor from some place like, I don't know, Oracle, and they just come up with acronym, and I go, the spotter. And I say, no more acronyms, mate. You want to talk to me? Use your words. You just start treating them like 4-year-olds. Use your words. That's not a word. It's like, I want to understand what you're telling me. Use your words. And they get really angry, but I don't really care. What I think's funny is often they don't know what the acronym stands for. The other thing I have, and I have to be a little bit careful with lots of stuff from. Don't know if it'll show it to you. Oh, maybe, if I sit near it. We have the Beast. I have a Rodecaster Duo, which weirdly, I've discovered, if you wangle it a little bit, you can have 4 microphones, which means there actually is no difference between the Rodecaster Duo and the Rodecaster Pro, apart from $1,000. Because the Rodecaster Pro is for 4 microphones. Admittedly, it has 4 physical plug-in microphone slots, and you can put in all 4 USB microphones or 4 wireless microphones. But I can run a headset microphone off the front port. I can run the NT USB one off the back USB port, number 2, and I can run 2 wireless mics. So I do. Real Lord Vectron says, I'll take acronyms over corporate speak any day. I don't put up with corporate speak. I have been known to use words like bullshit with vendors. It's like, mate, it sounds like you're bullshitting me. Melbourne Train Guy says, oh, it's even worse when someone makes up an acronym and expects you to just get it. Yes. That is the wonderful world of railways, in fact. People just making up acronyms. Cry XX, or is it Cries? Cries Crazy? Crazy XX, I guess. What is your favourite route and train sim world? It's actually a really good question. I like Peak Forest for visuals and the steam trains. I like Riviera for visuals and the services. I like Brighton Main Line for the busyness. I like the original Boston out of all the American routes. That's my favourite of the American ones.
The next stop is Polesworth. Please remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the
Out of the
train.
German ones, I'd have to say it was a toss-up between the 2 M's. Mentalbahn and Mittens. Mentalbahn and Mittenwaldbahn, if you want me to use the real words. Use your words, son. Alright, we are stopping at Polesworth. Apparently only 2 trains a day stop at Polesworth. So not too many people get polled. Righto, let's get the doors open. And she disappeared. She must have got on. Bob says, shed alert. MTG says, has EWS been taken over? There's a lot of DRS going past. There's only DRS on this route. Real Lord Vectron says, Corpo speak for me comes from Singapore, so I mix Australianisms in like, that ain't cricket, or the classic, yeah, nah, yeah. Yeah, that's always good. I think my favourite version of that is actually a guy that was from the east coast of the US, which is the realistic side of America, but worked on the west coast where I was when I was working there. And he was a classic bloke. He managed a bus company, and I had to put systems into these bus companies. So I'd go there to have a negotiation, and the way he would negotiate is you'd each get a Coke. I had to buy them. and we'd go and sit on a bus, and then a bus driver would take us on a grand tour while we had our discussion. You'd know if the discussion was going to be really short because you wouldn't actually go out the depot gate. You just go right around to the depot, and that meant that he wasn't going to entertain your thoughts at all. And then you'd be going on these big cruise, you'd be explaining all the things that you wanted to do and telling him. And about half the time he'd just look at you and go, you know what? No. And you go, well, that was worth hours of my time, wasn't it? And he'd go, yeah. Real Lord Vectron got in trouble once for saying, I ain't here to fuck spiders. Yes, I could see that. I have similarly been in trouble for telling someone to go and take a flying fuck at a rolling donut, but, yeah. Yeah, these things happen. We're Aussies. Some of those words are just punctuation for us. I'm sure those houses are in TSW. There's another one having a race with a bus. Next stop, Tamworth, the home of all good country music. Is there good country music? I suppose so. MTG says the best saying I've ever heard. Crazy says, I was thinking of getting Peak Forest, but I've heard mixed opinions regarding the steam engine. Oh, the steam engines are a bit poor. They really are. But they're still fun. And the scenarios are the best in the game. The scenarios on Peak Forest were to try and work out whether they could build narrative scenarios, which was opening the door for Thomas. So they've got some of the Steam Gala scenario is quite demanding. There's a pick up goods scenario that will take you at least 2.5 hours to do, which I really enjoy. So if shunting's your thing, get into it. I think it's on, I don't know if it's still on special, but it was.
Trent Valley, Rugeley Trent Valley, Stafford, Stone, Stoke-on-Trent, Kids Grove, Alsager, and Crewe. The next stop is Tamworth. Please remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you.
Waiting to see if we Nebworth it. I'm not even going to look. I'll find out in a moment. Oh, it's going to be close, I think. I think we might be. All right. How bad did we do? Do we really want to know? It's all the way down there. Oh, look at that. Most of it's in the platform. Awesome. It did say to practice using STO today. So we are. So there. Real Lord Vectron says, as long as it's all on the clock. Well, it always was. MTG says, lol, that's golden, just a no. Yep. You're learning all the bad words, MTG. I have discovered in Thompson stuff that if you don't bell back, it gets mad at you. Eddie says, we don't give two shits what people think of us. We are very casual, Eddie. We're casual swearers, we're casual racists, we're casual all sorts of things. I think Australia is changing, but slowly. Some of it regretfully. Real Lord Vectron says, my work reputation is I don't suffer fools or incompetence, so people avoid me because I'm blunt with feedback and shit. People have to talk to me. I've been there so long I have become the incumbent expert. So they're kind of forced to. Besides, if they don't, I can make them very miserable when they want to go live. Why didn't you talk to me 6 months ago? We could have sorted this out then. That would have been so much easier. But look what you did. You did the wrong thing. I love project managers. We don't have a soundboard thing for Tamworth, Real Lord Vectron. Maybe I should have put something in from Dolly or something. Litchfield. I know Litchfield. I've been there. MTG says, I've been told they have quite a pleasant phone manner, although when you're working a call centre, you don't want to be a dick and have customers yelling at you. You can't afford to be, really. You have to de-escalate in a call centre. My other half works in a call centre, and sometimes she uses those techniques on me. Which I think is funny. Real Lord Victron needs new code. MTG, same when I was on the phones. The customers were putting food on my table, so I was always polite. Casual thought Richie was driving then. No, you would have been able to smell that, Casual. Weasley says, change at Litchfield Trent Valley for Birmingham Cross City. Yes, you could do that, definitely. Real Lord Vectron says, they still use one of my calls from 10 years ago to train people how Aussies speak to one another. Melbourne train guy, you done goofed me to many a colic. No. When I was young and immature, I'd say something like, what the fuck did you do that for? And these days I go, well, that's unfortunate. And what you've done is very interesting. See, even I can learn. You can feel the rampant power. Shed. There's an awful lot of Temu flying around in the boxes there. Melbourne train guy says, well, that's unfortunate. It's just dead speak for how the fuck did you manage that? Yes, that is pretty much it. Yep. It's like saying, that person's really interesting. That's modern Aussie for they're a fuckwit. Yeah. Because, you know, in this modern, politically correct world, you can't say fuckwit anymore. They keep taking words away from us. Soon we're going to have to eat a dictionary every day just to be able to work and describe things. This is... I didn't quite have all the power. No wonder it's not going faster. Real Lord Vectron says, help me understand why. Yes, that could work. That could work. I mean, I know we're going uphill, but it's not that much of a gradient. 1 in 331. That's a pretty... You know, it's not much of a gradient.
This train is for crew. Calling at Litchfield, Trent Valley, Rugeley, Trent Valley, Stafford, Stone, Stoke-on-Trent, Kids Grove, Alsager, and crew. The next stop is Litchfield, Trent Valley.
Just realising we've got a station coming.
Take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
Chuck all the anchors out and the fridge. Ooh, there's another one up there. That'd be BCC, wouldn't it? This is going to work. Does it release the emergency brake? Oh, it does. Wow. Me think it amazing. Yes, a great many things from 1984 have come true, unfortunately. It's like Arthur C. Clarke's many predictions about technology. The vast majority of them have actually happened. I do love how litigious his family is too. Someone in Russia tried to patent a rotating space station idea so that they would have gravity. And Arthur C. Clarke's family have correctly pointed out that they can't do that. It should probably be a 323, but you know, it's here. Have quite happily pointed out, and they are suing them in International Trade Court to say that, sorry, that was Arthur C. Clarke's idea. He wrote about that in 1945. We think he has prior art. I need to work out a better camera angle for the little controller thing, because straight up and down doesn't work that well. What have I done? Oh, yeah, it's because I went into emergency. Okay. Full brakes. Neutral. Flick button. Hang on. I was worried there was a signal there that I couldn't see, but there isn't. No 323. 1984 was when Metro was formed. Well, that's ominous. MTG says, my family are quite religious, so I was raised already to not use many a fun word. Religion. It depends what kind of religion it is. If it's the kind of people who use the religion to bring themselves happiness and joy and community and things like that, I'm all for it. If it's the kind of thing that people use as a stick to beat themselves with into submission to stay under control, that I'm not for. Because most religion is about control. Wesley says no 323s, sadly. We want 323s, we want 323s. No, we don't, they're horrible. Having ridden one, they're horrible. What are they on that run now? 780s or something? MTG says Mormons, so not those ones. Do you know, I used to actually get paid by my next door neighbor, who was a Mormon, who had this amazingly beautiful daughter, and he used to pay me to sit next to her on the bus on the way to school so that no one would bother her. I thought it was a good technique from the dad, and as it happened, she and I were pretty good mates anyway, so we were quite happy to sit next to each other. This is where they grow all the marijuana. It's the farm owned by Cheech and Chong. MTG says, I don't do religion, I'm not a fan of being controlled. Yeah, a lot of people wake up to it. Not everyone does. But, I mean, there are people who definitely are in various religions for the right reasons. But, you know, it's a community cult. It's not far, like that much change of the needle. And for some people, it's really good. I actually know the family involved in the mushroom murders, for example. And that family is quite religious. And if they didn't have that community, they would probably be in an even darker place than they are. But because they've got that community, they're well supported. So, you know, it works for them. It's good for them. American B772 said, just found out I needed this route for the DPS Northeast England, but I don't have enough money, so I searched it up to watch people who do have the money and saw this live stream. It's actually quite cheap at the moment. Let me just check what the current Steam price is. It's on special. It is Australian $22.78. So for you, that's about $11 American. Assuming Steam is being fair in its currency conversions. Here's the big power station. No plumes of crap coming out of it, though. And I'm now officially out of coffee with my little Driver X mug from Swanage. Made it. I remembered to turn it off this time. Actually, I've got a cup of tea. I don't need to switch to water. I have a thermal cup of tea. Rugby. Rugby. Next up, rugby. Sorry, no, Ruggly. MTG says, I like it. It can bring some people some happiness, and it does genuinely help people. The majority of just blue thumbing douche knuckles. Yeah. Yes. It is good when it's community. It's a bit like Scouts. So I was a Scout leader for 15 years. And in the troop that I ran, it was about community. We didn't necessarily adhere to everything Scouts wanted us to do. We were very practical. So if it was worth the kids learning something, they learnt it. If it wasn't worth them learning something, they got it ticked off in their books as learnt it.
Trent Valley, Stafford, Stone, Stoke-on-Trent.
And we concentrated on what the kids wanted to do. So it was an unusual troop in that it wasn't run by the adults, it was run by the kids. I was there for insurance reasons.
To take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
So Scouts is very similar. Community, cult. It's very, very similar. Real Lord Vectron says problem is religion. We only see the bad side and online and in the media. That's very true. You don't... No one likes talking about the good side of things. That is very true. And very unfortunate. American says you should try the AP 350 pack. I'm not a fan of AP stuff, to be honest. If you were in with AP at the very start of the journey and you gradually built up your collection over time, then the AP methodology is okay. But the AP content, the vast majority of it is not standalone. So if you want to use this part of AP content, you've got to buy this one and 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 this one. So if you've been in it forever, if you're part of the ecosystem, that doesn't matter because you've already got it, because you've already bought all those things. But as a someone who's just starting out with AP, it's actually very hard to start out with AP because it costs you a fortune to get anything that you can actually work. And there are even sometimes dependencies where the thing that you need isn't even sold anymore. So, not a fan. American B772 got to drop a sub, the only streamer I've ever seen who actually interacts with his fan base. I try to. Be awfully boring if I didn't. Vectron says, when I was growing up, I had the religious family and they always had a huge Sunday brunch with their congregation. Legit friendliest and happiest people you'll ever meet. Yeah, that's a bit like the Greek club that my parents-in-law belonged to. They do a few things there. They have the big meetups where they all sit down and eat together, but they also have community feedings and things like that they do. They make breakfast for people, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, it's a cool side of those sort of things. Melbourne Train Guy says, that's true for many things. The media love to make everything as extreme as it can be. Well, look, it's the same as YouTubers who go after the clickbait. It's no different. Sensationalist words sell content, and sensationalist words that sell content consequently sell advertising. So, you know, it's where the market is. If you're not controversial, you'll never be as big as someone who is. It's just the way it is. Real Lord Vectron says, if it bleeds, it leads. I reckon agreed to that's how they do it. I've just had to buy all of them. Usually just go to rolling stock. Yeah, I'm not even sure it's actually intentional that they work, that AP works that way. It just is that way. So I don't know if it was ever planned to be like that. I think it just kind of is like that. MTG asks, how does that work with non-available dependencies? You have to find a different way to get them. Sometimes there'll be another pack which has got the dependency in it that you can pick up from somewhere else. It's like the TSC subscription thing will always include a route with the European asset pack and a route with the American asset pack and a route with the German asset pack. It has to. Otherwise TSC won't work. And a lot of the modern routes actually don't come with them. So you need something ancient to make it work. Church or castle? How did I go all the way around? But, you know, that's actually worthy of a screenshot, I think. Doop. But we should do a Steam one, too. Next stop, Stafford, or as I call it, Stuffed Up. Ooh. Ah! Lions. That's kind of cool. When did we get lions? We need the lions, even though there's no train in it. I like seeing things like that on railways. I'd love to know the why it's there. But, might have to look that up. Hampton to Rail Fan, hello. American says if I find an AP pack that isn't sold anymore, I just pirate it. Well, that's kind of what I was saying. You know, you just find different ways. Hampton to Rail Fan, what's your favourite train in the game? In this game? That would be the Little Baldwins on Clear Creek. That's an easy question. My second favourite is Big Boy by Smokebox. American says you don't even need a subscription. I don't subscribe and I still have the European and US Loco and Asset Pack. Yeah, they're in a lot of the older routes, but for whatever reason, they stopped publishing them in the newer stuff, so the subscription often has the newer stuff. So as a subscription person, if you're in TSC and you've only ever had the subscription, you've never had anything that you've bought, it has to include 3 old routes so that you get those packs. So it'll have 3 old routes and a bunch of new ones. It's just making up some time from when I was running too slowly. We'll just ignore that. It's okay. Don't panic. Real Lord Vectron says, I do like the way they manage add-ons in TSW, everything bundled and layers and optional extras. There is a downside of TSW though, and that's the 750 different Class 66s that we have, and the 300 Class 323s, and the 100 V90s, and the 17 different SD40s. slowing you down that much. This thing's brakes are too good. Vectron says it's what's putting me off TSC towards the end. Buy stuff during Steam sale and half wouldn't work because it was missing crap. Yeah, you need to figure out what its dependencies are, and that's... I think for the first party stuff, the DTG stuff, that tends not to happen. But a lot of the third party stuff, it does happen. And a lot of the third party stuff, they released a version on Steam, but they never kept it up to date. The most up-to-date version comes from their own websites. A lot of them have done that because between DTG and Steam, they just take too much money. So they put it on Steam and they put up with that to get the route known. And then they go, there's a better version here.
Stafford, Stone, Stoke-on-Trent, Kids Grove, Alsager, and Crewe. The next stop is Stafford. Please remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
And that was a voice made in the days when you could actually tell the difference between an AI voice and a normal one. Not anymore. They're a bit too good now. I was actually reading a very interesting article this morning. Yeah, why have I got a little memory card sitting there? That's not good. It must belong in a camera, surely. Probably this one. Yep. No memory card. I just found a little memory card on my desk. I don't like finding little memory cards on my desk because those little buggers are expensive. And I don't want to lose them. Crazy says, if you would add a new country to TSW, which one would it be? Australia. We need some Australia. Hey, just before we go into Stafford, there's some that are stopped. So what are they? I don't really see anything that identifies them too much. They've clearly come from Europe, though. Oh well. Finding stop ones didn't help answer the question, MTG. Sorry about that. Real Lord Vectron says, yes, need to separate the route from locos and have a way that it can auto-detect the files before downloading. Yes, very much. How good would it be to have 166 with a bunch of different liveries instead of hundreds of 66s? Well, it's crazy. I think there's 20 of them in the game. Literally 20. Oh, I missed Melbourne Train Guy's comment. That's why I call them drama tubers, and I call what they do politics. Yes. Well, people certainly know what I think of people. And drama tubers is a good name, and people know what I think of that because, you know, I did respond once and then their minions attacked me and I thought, this is funny. Fortunately, I have a thick skin. It doesn't really bother me that the minions went on the attack. Because, you know, it's words. But if you're someone that feels the words, which certainly there are plenty of people like that, being attacked by someone's minions would not be cool. Which also basically stymies free speech, because you have to be too concerned about being attacked by someone's minions. Let's have a look at Stafford. Staffordshire University, the home of great minds. Every university has some catchphrase like that to make themselves seem better and important. I always thought these sort of little houses in the UK weren't real until I went there. Went, oh, look, they are. Another driver will take the train to Crewe. That's because the route doesn't go there. Wah, wah, wah. There we go. West Coast Main Line, Trent Valley. Korea. Whoever it was asked me what the ones I like. Clear Creek. We're not going to run it. Just saying. Come on, do your thing. Right. I'll show you what the loco is, but we won't actually run it. It's not going to do it today, is it? Come on. No. Don't want you. I want to search. Yeah, do it this way. That should clear it. Maybe I don't have it installed. No, I think maybe I haven't got it installed. Never mind. Stop filtering. Don't want you to. Right, now it'll work. Clear. There we go. And the one I like from that route is not the Baldwin B4D. It's one of the others. That B4D is actually very hard to drive. Oh, come on. Might be that one. I'll have to have a proper look. I'll do it. I haven't done a stream on Clear Creek for so long. I think I should. I think we'll have to do that. Not today, though. Sorry. Let's get out of there and force it to filter it again. It's going to crash, isn't it? It's thinking about it. What? No, it worked. Oh, it's responding really slowly. I think it's getting angry. It's getting angry. We shall search for Trent and make it happy. How about a 66? Every second counts. Well, that's a long one, isn't it? Once you've formed your train of intermodal wagons at Durft, take your class 66 north to Stafford. Does that... So 90 minutes, is that a lot of shunting, do you think? People don't like shunting very much. Strike a chord, intermodal trade from Felixstowe Port at Nuneaton, travel over the Nuneaton North Chord and proceed along West Coast Main Line towards Stafford. We might do that one. Or the winter modal. Winter weather is causing problems on the West Coast Main Line. However, that can't stop supplies reaching their destination. Timu got to get through. Take the controls, intermodal train, a double-headed class 66 motive power, Stafford and Telemetry. No, let's do that one. That sounds like fun. Is it during the day? Yeah, it's during the day. Frostfire would like to see, it's there, the GAN, so it's G-H-A-N. Frostfire. That would be an interesting one. It's like... Couldn't acknowledge the AWS, and of course we're throttling massively at the moment. And that one's now independent brake. That one's reverser, and that one's train brake, I think. Yeah, that one's train brake. Okay, let's start releasing the train brake. Let's get some lights on. We're in goods. It's actually a fairly nice cab for TSC. It's not a bad cab at all. Can we open windows? Oh, we can. 350. Double doors. Oh, we haven't got headlights on. Come on, you. Oh, I know why. Now that I have headlights on. There. It's automated. We got the signal yet? No. This is probably why this one's 60 minutes long. You sit here at a signal for 30 minutes. If you're thinking about the GAN train, it runs from Adelaide in the south of Australia, in the state called South Australia, and it runs all the way through to Darwin. Alright, we got the brakes completely off. We've only got half a horn. Oh, there we go. I can do it with the keyboard. We'll start the ning 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 machine. MTG says they don't have the hump by the draw gear, so they aren't FKAs. Trade guy says that's why I don't do the politicking, paper thin skin sometimes. It's cool. You do what's right for you. No one else matters. Let's rip those couplers off. Oh, sounds like she's slipping. I think she is slipping. Let's just pop her back a little bit. Alright, let's try that again. Maybe with some sand. This must be a fairly hefty train, you know. So DRS people, are they valid numbers for DRS 66s? But that, just continuing with the GAN, I interrupted myself. I was foolish. It goes to Darwin in the Northern Territory of Australia, so it goes right up the guts of Australia. Its transit is nearly all desert, nearly all the way. There's kind of greenery at both ends of it. It's a very, very long journey. It's if that was going to happen, I would actually think it would better suit this game than Train Sim World. I think on Train Sim World, that would cause console fires. People's houses would burn down. Whereas Train Sim Classic probably actually could cope with it, because it is several thousand kilometres long. I'd love to see something from Melbourne, but if I couldn't have Melbourne, I would put up with the Blue Mountains line from Sydney, because that would include the freight lines to Melbourne, Brisbane and Perth, because they go through that same pass. Oops. You've been routed onto the upslow. Keeping a close eye on your speed. I am, it's too fast. It's not too fast anymore, though. Pretty good brakes for a long train. Is that my red signal? No, mine signal's green. That's fine. MTG says whoever tried to get a first-party Aussie route would likely be something from the mines. Look, that would be possible, but I think they would need to incorporate some metropolitan running, or they wouldn't sell it. It would be like Cane Creek. A completely pointless route that doesn't go anywhere. And doesn't join up with any other routes so you can even pretend. Melbourne Train Guy says, I could see DTG doing something with the ESs or the SDs. American says, opinions on TSW versus TSC. For me, they both have strengths, they both have weaknesses. I might include in that SimRail, Railroader, Subway Sim. It all comes down to what you want to do. So TSC, if you like running pre-baked scenarios or the route supports quick drive, it's actually quite good. Graphics-wise, it's more cartoony most of the time than TSW, but it has its moments. So some routes look really good. TSW is probably closer to immersive and the visual acuity that I like to have. But that's causing problems for it because it's too detailed, and that's causing blurry textures because it's gone beyond the limits of what the resourcing it's got and the resources that it's allowed to use. So, you know, both ways have problems. Subway Sim is Unreal 5, and that's really cool if you like German subways. I get enjoyment out of it. Neither of those games has purpose. So there kind of is. I mean, you can follow journeys, for example, in Train Sim World. That could give you some purpose. I don't use journeys much, mainly because I worry about getting wound into a journey and then having the journey break, which happens sometimes, and you can't complete it, which would annoy me. So I tend not to get in there. If I went into games with purpose, Railroader is probably the best example of a game with purpose. Do you know, I really don't think so. Always don't join up. Do you know, you don't keep them that far apart and then bring them that close together. No. Boom. That would just go boom. But anyway, that's alright. Time to power up. Ignore the fact that developers of the game know nothing about power lines. So I think my favourite game in the train world probably is Railroader, although I do play a lot of Rail Route, which is a dispatching game with challenges. I quite like that. I don't play a lot of those on stream because they're not that exciting to watch, to be honest. I tend to make a video, and I only video. So the challenges have 10 parts, and the last part's really hard. And the first 9 parts are all about setting up your design for your railway so that you can do the last part successfully. So I tend not to do the first 9 parts because it's like 3 or 4 hours of grind, and then the last part takes 20 minutes. So I tend to record them. But Railroader, I can spend a whole day in Railroader playing the game. And often do. When I live stream it, I try to keep it to no more than 4 hours, but you know, we've had some monumentals. I think my longest was 9 hours in Railroader, and that was actually fairly recently. That really pissed off my wife. A lot. But she was cool. She, you know, minimized the noise and did what she could to work around and try not to be annoying. She was very cool about it, but she was very annoyed too. Gratuitous bridge shots. Let's get a good angle. There's a good angle. That'll do. Wait. It's not great light, but you know. Climate Rail. Your big tubs of climate change being delivered to you every day to improve your world and make it warmer and more suitable. It's got a nice throb to it, doesn't it? So, it's a speed reduction, it's alright. We're not even at that speed yet. It's time to scare the shit out of a 350 driver. I'm sad it wouldn't do it. routing freight in front of a commuter train? Does that happen? Really? Ooh, it's getting snowy. That was a big change. Yes, they're HV conductors. American says you should try TSC. It's incredible with the right add-ons. It is. The other advantage of TSC is you can run it on a potato. So you do not need a good PC to run Transcend Classic. You need an okay PC. It won't run on my work laptop, for example. Don't ask me how I know that, because surely I wouldn't do that. But if you've got a middling graphics card, and you've got a middling CPU, so, you know, like an i5 or equivalent, you'll be fine with TSC. A lot of people will tell you it needs more CPU than GPU. Today, that's not actually true, because when it went through the rewrite to make it work with Windows 11, it gobbles up a lot more GPU these days. And you can make it look better. I run a thing called RW Enhance, which makes it look better. Full bananas. Hey! Fellow shed guy. It's a castle tunnel. Oh, and a 50-mile-an-hour curve. But there's no actual speed limit for it, so whatever. Frostfire says the only problem I had with TSC, it kept saying out of memory. Yeah, it's not really out of memory. That was a catch-all. That's a little bit better since the rebuild, but it still has issues. And when that starts happening to you, it can be very hard to solve it. I do have a video on solving it, which I know helps a lot of people. It has a lot of views. And the occasional person does go, oh, thank you. I finally got it working again. Because once it starts going bad, it can actually be very, very hard to get it to go again. Even clearing it out doesn't help. You have to do more than that. It's really annoying. And I feel for the people it happens to. And I've been there. I've been there too. Sheep vision. Better pay attention to the signal just in case. It's green, so you can keep moving right along. I think these limited to 75, aren't they, from memory? Yes. So we probably shouldn't stay in Notch 8 then. Rails, I assume your do it was related to the Baldwin on Clear Creek. But I'll do a Clear Creek stream. I haven't done it for so long. Clear Creek's a really good route if you haven't got it. If you like old style American style trains, they're basically the trains that I run on the Heritage Railway. So they're a wider gauge version of what I run. And I think that's why I enjoy it, because it's familiar. It's mountainous, it's quite difficult. It's fun. It's like my route. It's mountainous and difficult. Yeah, that's another semi-decent screenshot for the collection. Keep a little bit of power on to keep this train stretched, put a little bit of brake on. There you go. That's got to speed down again. Some Welsh bloke, hello, welcome. Caulfield to Cranbourne and Pakenham, Melbourne train guy. I could put up with that, but I'd prefer Frankston. American says usually when a route lots of AI, it'll say that. There's so many things that cause it, from game corruption through to actual problems on routes, problems with trains. There's just so many different things. American says, well, you have less than 24 gig. I've never actually had the game use more than 12, to be honest. But if it helps you, go for it. I actually run 4080 in this thing. And I'm glad I bought my DDR5 a few years ago. Because, man, it's expensive now. I think if the 48 gig that's in this, I think I paid something like $250, and now it's $1,000. Unbelievable. MTG says DRS class 66/4, number 66429, Charlie Burst. Proper number for a DRS shed. Fair enough. The power station's fairly cool. Let's go have a look. It's not modelled the way it is in Train Sim World, but it's alright. Fun fact about Train Sim World, it actually has a Train Sim Classic mode that they don't talk about and you can't get to outside dev. But it looks like this. It basically turns off all shadows and turns off all shading effects. So it looks like Train Sim Classic. Neutral zone, don't care, I'm in a diesel. Crazy asks, is Diesel Legends of the Great Western worth it? Looks interesting, but reviews are more on the negative side. It gives you, for the GWE itself, it gives you some scenarios that are fun to play. I think the most important aspect of it is that it gives you a whole lot of diesels that work in other routes. So that's probably where it's most useful. So I quite like it. Real Lord Vectron says, isn't TSC CPU heavy? Not really. It's single threaded, so the faster your CPU the better, but you don't need a lot of cores. Because it'll only use one thread, and Windows will use a couple of threads, and Steam will use a thread. So as long as you've got half a dozen cores, you're fine. And that's basically a bottom-end CPU. It's got half a dozen cores, so... But buy the fastest one you can get. Because it is single-threaded, which means if you give it more CPU, it will be cleaner and less hitchy. It's like this thing. We don't see much in the way of artifacts because I've got a very fast CPU. And interestingly, these days, TSC actually does use more than one core, but it uses one core this much, and the other one's this much. So, whatever change they made was very small. Where's the canal? I saw a canal. Oh, there it is. I see they're starting to tidy up that canal breach. That would have been a pretty horrific thing to wake up to in the middle of the night. Richie Rail, hello. Frostfire says it's only suggested, but I didn't see your previous one, sorry. Some Welsh bloke says I should give TSC another go. I got some nice Swiss routes and did enjoy writing scenarios in it too. Yeah, I used to write scenarios. I used to do tons of them. I've still got quite a few on Workshop. But I really haven't done many scenarios since TSW came out. Because it does take a long time to build a decent scenario in TSC. And there's not that much audience for them anymore, so you make it, you run it, you go, that was fun, and that's it. So you might spend 20 hours making a scenario that takes you 2 hours to play. The return on investment's not quite right there. Rails says, no, scaring the 66 driver. Oh, you should always do that. Dexter Crickenberger. Hello, have you heard about the Strasbourg Railroad? I have. I haven't visited Strasbourg. It's one of the few heritage railways in the US that I haven't visited. I've been to 40... I think it was 46 states of the US, I think, from memory, something like that. But it's too hard to go there at the moment, so I won't. I have a lot of good friends in the US that I would love to see again, but I'll wait. Because travel at the moment, having to surrender your credentials is just such a huge invasion of privacy. And I know they won't find anything, but it's such a huge invasion of privacy to hand over your credentials, which actually means dumbing down my security because they don't have these, so they can't log in anyway. That's just, you know, scary. MTG said it'd be cool to get the soft side containers in TSW. You mean the frame ones with tanks in them? I don't think they exist anywhere. Can't actually. Maybe they do on one of the German routes. I have to have a think about that. Maybe. I'm just trying to think if I've seen them or not. It's too many routes. It's just too many to keep track of. Better get back in case that signal's not green. It is green, so it's fine. Where are we on the route too? Roaring in. Long way to go. Chad. They do look cool. MTG says Afghanistan would have to use Stony Point for the Sprinter, otherwise it would be a war crime. And the steel trains. And if you took it back 10 years, the oil trains. So it could be quite cool. And if it was current, you'd have the dirty great big depot as well. That looks nice, doesn't it? The sun rising over there. Into the snowy wilderness. MTG points out that Diesel Legend stock is getting updated in the GWE remaster. It is indeed, so yes, own it. Probably a good idea. It should also be in special too. Frostfire says it's only 75 suggested speed limit for the train, to clarify what I was talking about. Yes. No, that's cool. 75 they'll probably start to derail. How are you, Richie? Happy New Year as well. Rail says you can wait, but I won't. That's fair. Rail says I'll travel to my home country of Israel soon, so I don't blame you. Well, good luck with that, mate. Be safe. MTG says the Tesco ones, I mean, they look like curtains. Oh, those ones. The ones that look like trucks. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I thought you meant the frame tank cars. Some Welsh bloke says the Tesco ones are lorry trailers. Well, next time we see one, let's have a closer look. Can't at the moment, clearly. We're in a train. This view's always a bit funny. Yep. Signal. No problem. It's got a thread. Actually, do it this way. Oh, no, it won't do it. There. Can't do it. Can't do it properly. It doesn't transition properly to do Darth Vader. Unlike what a real one does. When I drove the Class 20 on the Swanage Railway, I had to do a Darth Vader. It actually sounds alright on the real horn. It doesn't work in the game. Still requires a lot of imagination for it to be the Darth Vader theme in the train, but you know. MTG says we can take it back to the mid-90s, early 00s to the V-Line passenger days. The orange was fire. Ah, the teacup. Orange and silver. It was a very nice livery. Didn't last long, but it was very nice. Today's purple and white one's not too bad. Purple, white and grey. Rails of Illinois says try doing that with a K5LA. Well, I don't think you can, because a K5LA hasn't got a high tone and a low tone. It's only got the one tone. Whereas UK trains have two tones. Is that my signal? That is my signal. Oh, the brakes actually work properly in this. You set your target pressure and the train moves to that. Nice. Rail says my friend got a 20th Century Fox intro horn show yesterday from an Amtrak train. Oh, fair enough. Some Welsh bloke says not much scope to compose something musical with just two notes, one tone apart. The more modern trains have sub-notes as well, because they have quiet versions of it, so you get four notes. Temporary speed restriction at Polesworth. Another gratuitous bridge shot. Don't mind if I do. And a yellow up ahead. Rail says you can quill a horn. You can if you've got a string to control it with. Just the switches, not so much. Real Lord Vectron's going to head off. Enjoy your day, mate. Have a good one. It's time for a track change, by the looks of it. All the way up there. So for the kinds of horns, if you've got one that's got a valve, then yes, you can quill those. If it's got a string, you can quill them. If it's the kind where it's just push button switches, which is like this thing, then not really. If you have a look at the video, I think it's gone live, of me driving one of our locos. You can hear whistle quilling in that. Because we only have our whistle's a single chime, but you can make it make lots of different notes. That is green. Should have the last of our train through these points shortly. Should be able to speed up again. Wesley says if you miss a terminus station on SCR like Stepford, then it boots you out. It's helping the rest of the multiplayer universe, I suppose. That's the downside of multiplayer that a lot of people don't get. It relies on people behaving themselves. Alright, we should be able to speed back up now. MTG says, is that your trip in 6A? Yes. I drove on this Friday too, but no video of that one. I'm waiting to see the response of the railway to that video before I make or put up any more. Waiting to see what they do. They've put up with me putting up firing videos for ages, and I know they watch them. Wesley's asking Richie if he's excited for this route. I think this one could be fun, but I actually think I'm more looking forward to Medway Valley than this one. A lot of things, MTG, a lot of things. I do actually have the CEO's permission to make and publish videos about the railway. And I have that in writing. So they can't sack me for it. But in the current climate, you just have to be really careful. Can you actually take a screenshot? Oh, you can. It would have been nicer a moment ago when the sun was in the windscreen, but, you know, it's not a bad look. There's just a lot going on there at the moment, MTG. Richie is still watching. How about that? This is tractor poo. Tractors run through the field and they poo out big balls of grass. That's worthwhile, isn't it? Ah, here's our speed restriction. Never mind. Keep some power on. Oh, no, it's cut the power off. Ning, 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 ning goes to 66. That should get me down to the 30 in time for the actual TSR, rather than the warning. Now to stretch the train back out again. Gently. MTG asks, is this a case of them just not getting it or maybe over worrying? Bit of A, bit of B, bit of C. You're watching the darts highlights, Richie. Play a game of darts. A dart here is just another word for cigarette. Dart, durry, fag, they're all cigarettes. Not words people use that much anymore, but they are around. There's the end of the restriction, but we can't speed up. See, he didn't have to slow down. Bastard. He just snuck up the inside, he did. Richie says, I quite like the darts, but shite at playing it. Well, that's like snooker. I watch snooker because I can really appreciate the game, but I'm shithouse at it. When I get drunk, I think I'm really good at it. Because, you know, like everything dexterity, drinking makes it better. Surely the back of my train passed that T sign a while ago. There it is. I have to say they've done pretty well on the sound on these 66s. Richie says, I pot the white more often than the coloured ones. Yep. Or you knock in the 8-ball. Knock in the black. And then you're screwed. Just hand your opponent the game and go, here you go. Or you might be playing at a pub somewhere and the next duo come up and go, have you finished wasting our time? Hey look, that's that same shit hedge asset that I hate in Train Sim World. That's the same one. So one-dimensional. I quite like this thing's brakes. I think I've done a nice job on the brakes. I've driven that. An ad for their own route. That's funny. But I have that route. What are you up to this fine day, Richie? Richie, for those of you who don't know, is one of my mods, but he's also a fellow content creator. Has quite a dynamic an exciting channel. So you should, has a bit of a, like me, bit of a mix of real trains and fake ones. And like me, knows enough about the UK railways to be annoyingly wrong. There's a sneaky 350. Richie currently working on some content stuff, trying to get a head start before heading back to work on Monday. I've got another week off. And the missus goes back into the office on Tuesday, so I foresee an entire week of streaming. All day, every day. Apart from the days I'm on the real railway. You'll enjoy the weather on one of our days next week, Richie Rail. 38 degrees Celsius coming up. I'm sure it will be absolutely delightful. Night all, some Welsh bloke. Enjoy yourself. I will be, should be. We've yet to come up with the cash, but should be actually in Wales this year. Later in the year. Good timing. Shedtaculous. I better go check that signal though. It is green, it's fine. Jammy sod. Well, there's an expression I've never heard before. We're back in full next week. And it's due to be, it's going to be like this. Snowy and miserable. Both Chris and I would actually like to be there to see winter, but not to travel in it. Too hard. No, we have a double yellow coming up. And a 30-mile-an-hour limit coming up too. Better do something about that, eh? Bit more, maybe. Yellow in the feather. Jammy sod is a polite way of saying lucky bastard. I think Australians would probably say something else. Something that would get me kicked off YouTube. Remind me next year when I see you, Richie, and I'll tell you what it is. You can probably guess, though. Making good time, an incident up ahead has enclosed the up slow line. Prepare to be diverted. dun, dun, dun. This is. Oh, I thought it was the Thompson Scottish. Oh, yes, it is her. It's the Thompson Scottish girl. There you go. It's a term of endearment. Richie goes, let me guess, see you in the Northern Territory. Yeah, pretty close to that. It would include that word. I should get one of those t-shirts and just wear it in a video one day. Just see what people say. That would be funny. Now that you can actually see my man boobs in all their glory, thanks to the bigger camera range. How's the sound today, by the way? I think this is the first stream since I built my box. MTG is going to do some housework. I was doing that yesterday when it was hot. Because I'm stupid. Boink. Get a t-shirt for your travels this year. The locals will love it. Yeah, I reckon it'd go really well coming through into immigration wearing it, especially in Dubai. Oh, they'd love it. You could wear it under something else. Oops. I guess I hadn't responded to that red signal, huh? Brake demand. Where's my brake demand light? There isn't one. Oh well. No brake demand light. That saved me from a spad. I am here at the same time, Richie. Because what I'm hoping, gambling on really, is that has it really recovered? It has recovered. Is that our friends in DTG Towers will run their event at the same time. Brakes on the back of the train are still releasing, so gotta go gently here so I don't rip the train in half. Our grand plan is to arrive at the start of August and be back in Australia in the first week of September. So we're there for a month. Still working out, well, Wench is working out what she wants to see. I know what I want to do already. And she wants to do Scotland, and I'm going to make her do Wales because I know she'll enjoy it, even though she doesn't see that yet. She will. It's the kind of place she enjoys, so I know she will. So my kind of grand plan is to land in Londinium as usual, head down south, ride the Riviera, work my way around to West Somerset, do another run on West Somerset because I want to. Probably stay at Minehead again because it was nice. Wander round up the coast, go up through Wales. Visit many castles because she's a castle person. I'm a train person, she's a castle person, but... And then up through Wales, up the West Coast Main Line, up into Scotland because she wants to see Edinburgh and a few other places up there. And then back down through the guts to... And that should be timed about the right time for the Ambassador event, assuming it's on about the same time. Do that. And then probably... Not sure after that, actually, because I'm a bit torn in which direction I'd like to go, because I could go south from Kent and go visit the Dymchurch Railway. The little tiny one that's really long. I just reckon that'd be cool. Or head up north and do Yorkshire again, because I actually think she'd like Yorkshire and York itself. And I've walked through Leeds, but I haven't really done anything in the city of Leeds. I just did the walk. I mean, you know about that walk anyway, from the bus station to the train station. And that's it. Never explored Leeds. I don't know if there's anything worth exploring in Leeds, but, you know. So I have to start pressuring Alex and JD on when the event's going to be, so we can start booking things. And great news, most of the airlines have just banned battery banks on international flights. Yay. They're still allowing laptop batteries, phone batteries and camera batteries at this point, but not battery banks. So people, UK people who are watching, if you have recommendations for places that we should visit in the UK, whether you think I've been there or not, feel free to chuck them in the chat or in a comment later if you're watching this on playback. And, or DM me on Discord, also good. Yeah, Richie, the Carnarvon Castle is my excuse to ride the West Highland Railway again. And I'll probably buy her one of those nice seats in the observation car right behind the engine, so she can see me in the engine. York is quite nice. You might want to go and see, I think it was in York actually, the place that is the original inspiration for Diagon Alley. I think it was in York. The Shambles, that's it. I think she'd quite like that. So that'll have to be on the list. I went there last year and had a bit of a look around. There was a little market on as well, which was cool. Lots of really interesting shops. I had grand plans on buying some Harry Potter merch for the family, but something had gone wrong with phone comms in the area, so everybody's EFTPOS terminals weren't working. So they're going, go to the bank machine and get cash, and I just kind of lost interest. That looks like another TSR, doesn't it? Not on this track, though. Wow. Treat it. Well, there you go. That sounds good, Richie. I do get the impression from the limited exposure that Christine and Shan will actually get on really well. Zilla Gaming, hello to you. Welcome along to the stream. Happy New Year and all those sorts of fun things. I got out a can of, well, not a can, a little plastic tub of fresh meat cat food today, and it said used by 1st of January 2027. I was thinking it's not that fresh then. Sila says, I've got TSW6, but don't seem to have any of the new features. Do you need to get Deluxe Edition? No, definitely not. Have a look in your settings and make sure that they still work. So make sure you've got everything turned on. I can't show you here because I'm running Train Simulator Classic, but make sure you've got faults turned on and you've got the speed limits turned on and you've got the... Oops, braking a bit too much. And you've got all the other juicy bits turned on. I think they default to off. Richie says we could let them do Harry Potter stuff and we go to the NRF again. Yeah, I heard it's all been reopened. So yeah, that's on the cards. We could do that. Let me send her a message because she's probably awake. Most likely. There you go. I've sent her a message, so that'll get it on the list. Silla Gaming says, I always wanted to use Classic better. It's just different. So in Classic, you are the train. In Train Sim World, you're the person, you're the driver. So you can hop out and you can wander around and do things like that. That's what the world means in Train Sim World. With Train Sim Classic, there's none of this going outside. I mean, you can pretend to. You can do this, for example. Well, not that one, maybe. But you can do this, so you're standing on the side of the rails watching a train go past. But you can't actually get out. That's a bag of stones, mate. Hey look, council workers. Hey, he's just standing at the bag of stones. I don't know what to do. He's just waving his arms around. What do you do? Help me! Help me! If you have a potato computer, Train Sim Classic is the way to go because it will run on just about anything. The physics are highly variable in Train Sim Classic, so this train's actually quite good. It's responding to brakes reasonably well, it's accelerating in ways that I consider to be relatively prototypical. But some of them are a bit awful. Some of them are more like Thomas in TSW. So it's quite variable. The older stuff particularly is not very good. Although even that varies, because some of the really old stuff is excellent. Richie says, if TSC had a timetable mod, I would probably prefer it to TSW. You kind of do on routes that support quick drive. If they support quick drive, you can run a shift, so if you got yourself the working timetable, you could actually do it. But, yeah, I know what you mean. The other difference is when TSC goes bad, it goes really bad, and it can be quite hard to get it working again. I've coached a few people through it. I've had to do it myself a couple of times. But there's a lot more content for TSC. There are, what, I think there's £15,000 worth of DLC that you can buy for TSC, something like that. And there's routes from all over the world. There's third-party developers that don't publish through DTG and Steam. I suppose you'd call them fourth-party. So there's routes from all over the place, like places that the games don't normally touch, like India. Eddie says, you're sure they were council and not railway track workers just standing around? Well, you never know, they could have been. In my experience, railway track workers tend to work relatively hard. Having done that job on my railway, it's nothing quite like picking up railway track. That shit's heavy. Very heavy. Zilla Gaming says, so many years of TSW and they cannot get the physics to be decent. Love to play heavy cargo, but not very realistic. I think in TSW, they still err on the side of your average player. So they call it a sim, but it's probably closer to simcade, because they don't want to alienate all of the other players. If you look at Sherman Hill, for example, when Sherman Hill first came out, it was really hard to get a train to move. Like, it took 10 to 12 minutes to pump the brakes up. It would take... Then you'd get it moving, you do a brake application, it would take 20 seconds before anything happened. And then the brakes would apply and you release, and it would take a full minute or so, maybe two, before the train charged up again. The notching was quite realistic as well in the amount of power you had, and people hated it. They panned the crap out of it. So they put it back to simcade, and they got rid of all of that. So the engine can do it, the game can do it, but the players don't really want it to, was the message that Sherman Hill gave them. The majority of the players, I mean. There certainly are people that do want it. Zilla Gaming says, I would love it if Run 8 and TSW made a baby. Yeah, Run 8 is a really good example of a simulator. It's an actual simulator. Another one that's an actual simulator. I think that's my yellow signal, isn't it? Another good example of an actual simulator is Susi. I'm still too scared to run Susi on a stream because it is so pedantic. I just know I'll end up with a train that I can't move. Eddie says it seems to be non-stop up here in Sydney. Oh, the council, the workers just standing around. Zilla says they could give us a button like expert mode. Yeah, it'd be a possibility. But I suppose that the challenge is building and testing the two modes. Here's a question for you. Would you pay more for a train that had really good physics? So if it was say 50% more, so let's say a normal DSC was $50, it would be $75. Rainier, hello, how are you? Eddie says no, track work. Yeah, it's the time of year for track work. It's when they do it, is in the when everybody else goes on break. So Zilly, you'd be willing to pay a bit more for physics. I suppose people have shown that with the Expert 101. It's not been a rip-roaring commercial success, but it's got its cult followers who love it. And I guess that would be the market they'd have to aim for, but they'd have to aim for the American version of that market. Michael Newbury would also pay more for something like that. So I can tell Zilla's played Run 8. I'm not sure if Michael has. Run 8, if folks haven't seen it, if you get the graphics, say, halfway between Train Sim Classic and Microsoft Train Simulator, that's Run 8. Its graphics are unattractive. But its simulation is awesome. In Run 8, if you don't have some idea how to drive a train, frankly, you aren't going to. That signal's not facing me, it's fine. Actually, that might be a red one up there. It is. It's got a feather on it, though, so I think it'll change. You won't comment on price, Richie. No, if you and I comment on price, someone will make a video about it. It's just as I stop it releases. Nicely on this train, the airflow indicator is actually working, so that's telling me the train's still charging its brakes. But that they are starting to come off. But being relatively realistic, that means I don't go straight into the power really hard, because you just tear the train in half. I wonder if I got that when it was yellow. Or if it looks like I just spattered. Michael doesn't have Run 8. I did used to play a lot of Run 8, but I did get sick of the graphics, to be honest. Just didn't want to play it anymore. I still play a dispatcher in Run 8 because I don't have to look at the trains. That's still fun, to sit there and play Dispatcher for 10 hours. Even with only AI trains, there's plenty to do if you don't play multiplayer. And the multiplayer is quite variable. In Run 8, you get people... There's servers where no one cares about anything and you can just do whatever you want. And there's servers that are very, very prototypical. And you really need to know what you're doing for that subdivision of that railway. And they're very, very anal retentive about it, which is fine because it's what they want to be. And then there's the the servers that if you're not in the family, you're not in the family. There's plenty of them too. But if you like shunting and you like a local or a pickup goods, Run 8's got some really good scenarios available to you. They're called scenarios, but don't think scenarios like what you get in TSW. They're considerably different. You're really on your own devices. It just tells you where to go and what cars to pick up. A bit like Railroader when you've got your switch lists. So if you're ever thinking about becoming a train driver, Run 8 could be a good one for you to learn, because it will give you some good background on how trains actually work. Richie says, I'm looking at some games on Steam. How was Back in Service? I quite like Back in Service. So... Polish, I think, Subway game. It's quite reasonable. The developer's quite responsive. It's fun. Still yellow. It's not too grindy. Oh, we're almost at Durft. That's why it's yellow. We're almost there. I'll DM you my Steam inventory, Richie, and I'll mark which ones I think are okay and which ones aren't after this stream. If you haven't seen it in the next few hours, remind me. I was happy to pay full price for it, Richie. And then the guy gave me, because I'm a content creator, he reached out and he gave me keys for the DLCs, which was nice of him. Ning, 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 goes to 66. There's a lot of new train games on the verge of appearing. I've been following quite a few that are saying coming soon on Steam, so it could be a good year. Could be a whole lot of mediocre train games too. And my only question is, what's first? GTA 6? Great Western Remaster? Tadami Line? Half-Life 3? Red Dead 3? Many things rumoured. I suppose in fairness, the Great Western Remaster and Tadami are more than rumours, but, you know, we've been waiting a while. And go sliding straight into dirt without any lubrication at all. Richie Rao says GTA 6 is November, so literally everything else has a chance to be first. It used to be February. Oh no, we're going to be going 3 miles an hour too fast. Help us! We'll never survive! There we go, so we've done 2 full-length runs of the Trent Valley. This is, of course, dirt. It's probably got more stuff in it than you'll see in TSW. Because, you know, putting this many carriages in TSW might actually make it catch fire. It's like Australia at this time of year. Today it's only 24 degrees. Yesterday it was 33. Next week it's going to be, I think, 35, 38, 33, 33, and then cold again. Go figure. I really think they've done a great job on the sound on this 66. It sounds quite like a real one. Richie says the highest temperature is 3. Brilliant. That's what you want. No, you're actually not going to make me go all the way. All right then. Let's hold our brakes there. It's our little train here at Turft. What if you can you do a screenshot after you've done that? Doesn't look like it. What about now? No. It's gone. Wesley says the 66 sounds perfect. Yeah, I reckon they've done a really nice job of it. Eddie says, typical of our weather to be stupid like that. Yeah, it's going to be a weird one in Melbourne. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, so today's 23. Yesterday was 30-something. Tomorrow's 23, Tuesday 28, Wednesday 39, Thursday 30, Friday 34, Saturday 24 and rain. I, naturally enough, we're on the railway on Friday. I kind of think I am on 34-degree day. That will suck. That will just suck a lot. Sigh. Should we do another one? It's getting a bit late. Richie's just found a Maglev DLC for TSC. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there definitely is. Actually, let's just have a quick look at Steam. Let me just get into the store and then I'll share the screen. So this is the route we were on when I can find this. Where is it? I know I've got a thing for sharing Steam. What have I done? I've lost it. Doop. That work? No. Why not? Oh, that would be why not. Okay, so this is the route we've just done, which is on special. But if we have a look at the store under Train Simulator Classic, downloadable content, and we look at the lists and we look at what's on discount. There should be one. View the full list. No, that's US routes. That's not what I want. I want everything. Let's go back there again. Don't know where that music came from. Browse all. There we are. That's what we want. The browse all. Why can't I? There we go. Discounts. That's what we want to see. So on special right now, there is so much stuff. And if I just look at what's in my library, Woodhead is really good. Really, really good for this game. Ooh. That's required on Feather River. There's one to think about. So I will open that in a new tab. I'll come back to that one, because I quite like Feather River. But let's just go back and keep looking at our filtered list. What else is on special? So we only want to look at discounted stuff. There we go. What else is really good in here? Clear Creek. This, if you like quite difficult locomotives to drive that have realistic physics and realistic controls. They even have quite, I'm not going to say realistic firing, but they have difficult firing. Clear Creek is really good, and it's got a bunch of DLC that go with it. It's a very slow drive. This one, I ended up refunding this thing, but a lot of people like it, but I found it was a bit crap. There are high-speed train things. Anything with TS Pro is usually good, but make sure you look at the reviews because some of them are quite terrible. We have the Deltic. There's a few I don't have. TS Pros. I should have a look at these later, actually. The Terrier is pretty good. That's quite a good one. And if you run that on, try and remember the name of the route, but it's a heritage one. Isle of Wight, that's right, the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. So it's quite a good little railway, the steam railway for Isle of Wight. Look at that, $7.40 and $11.58 for the little Terrier, and you get the other one with it. So that's pretty good. Rails is saying, yeah, there's quite a few good things in here. So yeah, American stuff. This is quite good. I don't know why that says it's not in my library, because I have actually got that one. Maybe I got it through a different key. I have got a few non-Steam keys for things. There's your high-speed Chinese stuff. I haven't really gotten into those because they just run from one place to another and there's nothing you really do in the middle, so it's just not my kind of thing, so I haven't really gotten into them. Chatham Mainline, there you go. You can go to DTG. That one's quite good. That one's only a scenario pack, but what else have we got in here? Stuff that's actually in my library. Things I think that are good, in other words. This thing's fun. This thing, I like jumping this off a ski jump. It flies a long way. Tennessee Pass is pretty decent. I run the smoke box big boy on here, not the one that comes with it. Salutograde's terrible. There's Feather River, that's quite good. The current version of it, the enhanced version, the original version's a bit shit, but that one's quite good. See Amtrak Electrics, they're quite decent. That's not too bad a price for them. I've seen them cheaper though. What else have we got in here that's on special at the moment that's really good? Ooh, Hope Valley. Yeah. Let's open that one in a new tab and come back to that, because I don't think I've seen Hope Valley on sale before. I'll have a look at that one. There's so much stuff. Schools, that's a good loco, that one. The Schools class. Fits in nicely on West Somerset and a few other places. Boston Springfield's quite a good route. That's quite nice for freight. All the New Zealand stuff's good. All the New Zealand route. But if you want to buy the New Zealand stuff, their latest versions are on their website. They're not on Steam. So if you're going to get into it, I'd probably get in through their website rather than get into it. But if you've already got it, stick with Steam. Oh, what else have we got? Taurus Mountain, most boring route ever. Scotty's a decent version. The Centenary Scotty. It's not brilliant, but it's decent. What else have we got? American stuff. The UP Heavy Challenger from Smokebox is really good. I think that one not so hot. What else have we got American, since we've got a few Americans in the chat today? This Penn Central one, which is a scenario pack, I think, that route's actually fairly decent. What else have we got that's good? Mount Shasta, yes and no. I kind of don't mind it, but they're fairly long runs. So you just need to be prepared for that. What else is hiding down here? The route that goes with this is good. I haven't tried that scenario pack. Big Boys, the Smokebox Big Boy is very good. It's a little bit hard to drive. You do need to read its manual or it'll bite you. But it's quite a good loco to drive. It's quite realistic. More Midland Line. Midland Line's a lot of fun, and it is very realistic. And consequently difficult to drive, which means they don't sell much of it. What else have we got in there? That's terrible. The Metropolitan Line, the line is good, the train not. Doesn't come with one, you got to buy one. Welsh Marches was quite good. I actually quite like this route. Newport to Shrewsbury. Might do a stream on that one, actually. I don't think I ever have. What else is in here that was quite good? What if I just hide stuff that's not in my library? Can I do that? No, I want to show you only stuff that's in my library, but I can't do that. Yes, I can. Of course I can. Don't be silly. Train Simulator Classic. Manage my DLC. Deltic I haven't tried yet. Alaska's good. The Alaska Railroad's really good. This is fun. Miami West Palm Beach. It's basically, today is Brightline, so feel free to run into cars. It's kind of required. What else is really good that's in here? Welsh Marches is quite good. I would get that one. West Somerset's good. I like that. The TSC version of it. I actually think the TSC version of it is better than the original TSW version. Hello, Becky Davies. But yeah, that gives you a bit of an idea of what you can have. There's quite a lot of Japanese routes in here, actually, that I quite like. They're relatively realistic, so they can be quite good. TSW routes that I think are okay, sure. What are probably the best ones in here? Actually, let's do it through the store page. It's going to be easier, isn't it? So yeah, any particular focus you want? American, English, German? All the cargo lines, I reckon, are pretty good. If we look at the stuff that's discounted right now, Riviera is very good. And that's, you know, it's almost half price. Leipzig, Dresden. The 86, if you've got Shap, it completes it, so it's kind of okay. The Shap route's good, quite good. What else have we got in here routes-wise? Small Groningen, people, for me, it's not that exciting, but no Aussie routes, Eddie. Quite a lot of people like it. Midland is, Thomas is fun, but, you got to do it, Thomas. Cajon Pass, if you like a good long run that's challenging downhill, that's really good. Vectron is, of course, good. All the Vectrons are good, all 1,000 of them. Peninsula Corridor is good. If you get this on PC, there's mods to put the branding back on it. And there's a really good lighting and sound mod for it now. Well, it's really good. I streamed it last week. LIRR is okay. Northeast Corridor, Boston Providence is decent. West Cornwall Steam Rail Tour gives you some Steam Loco variation for other things. Don't buy it for West Cornwall. West Cornwall's horrible. What else have we got? Routes-wise. This Island Line version of it I quite like. The old one not so much, but this one's good. 2022. The old one's got good trains. That's the M3. Northeast Corridor, New York Trenton is, these days, it's reasonable. Not brilliant, reasonable. The Santa Fe thing's kind of crap, both versions. The Acella's okay. Sherman Hill's decent. Sherman Hill's a bit of fun. So, $10 you can't really go wrong, can you? Thomas, of course. This LIRR's decent. I don't mind this one. This is the older one that doesn't force the safety systems on. Metro Link. Yeah. Bakerloo's good. $4. If you didn't have Bakerloo, $4. Remember to have a look at the different versions of the game too, because you can get, so you might buy a deluxe edition of, say, TSW3 and it gives you 4 routes. So, good deal if you haven't got them. What else have we got in here? Railhead treatment trains is decent. Antelope Valley is not as good as the San Bernardino one. So Antelope Valley is okay. San Bernardino I'd put in the good category. This one, Vorarlberg, meh. BR204 is just annoying. Arosa gets a lot of grief, but to be honest, I don't mind it. I think it's actually okay. Its sounds are a bit wonky, but it's okay. Niddertalbans, if you like a slow run, is really good. It's really scenic. It's quite nice to look at. Boston, Providence, Stoughton Line. This one's, I thought we covered that before, actually. But no, this one's good. That one's a good one. The Heritage Livery Pack, if you've got the routes that it goes with, is quite good. Framingham, Worcester, not as good as the other Boston. Rhine-Ruhr Austin is okay. East Coastway, it's showing its age, but it's got a good timetable. Southeastern High Speed is quite good because it caters for both long, fast runs and short and the commuter type stuff. BCC is really good. Definitely, I encourage BCC, and you don't even need the mods for it anymore because it's had a bit of a cleanup. But there are some good mods that improve it even more if you want to go that way. The Glossop line, kind of okay. Flying Scotsman is kind of okay because it's a steam engine that's in Transim World. London Euston Milton Keynes today is not too bad, but expect blurry textures. It gets tons of them. Frankfurt Fulda, the same deal. It's not too bad, but expect blurry textures. Pendolino's all right. HKA's. That's Metrolink's older train. Horseshoe Curve, if you're from that area, you will probably like it. If you're not from that area, it's a bit of a slog run. So it's a bit of work involved in getting to know this one. It does have some good variation, and there's some quite difficult running coming down out of the coal mines, but the run on the main line is not difficult at all. The UP Heritage Collection's fairly nice visually. Barnstedt, Bremen, Oldenburg is okay. Colin I quite like. The original Allen line is okay, but I prefer the newer one. The only thing I like about this one's the old stock, because I like growly old DC stock. It sounds nice. Brighton Main Line, absolute winner. Good luck stopping your computer catching fire, but it's a winner. Harlem Line, yeah. Spirit of Stream, Liverpool Lime Street, not really. It's not a nice route to look at, unfortunately. Very slow timetable as well. Sandpatch Grade is, for its age, is actually pretty good. This is the OG route. This is the original route from Train Sim World. It was called Train Sim World Heavy Haul. Actually, it was called CSX Heavy Haul, sorry. So it's still, I reckon, still quite good, because it's got loading, it's got unloading, it's got nice difficult runs, downhill runs. The uphill ones aren't too hard, but they never are. What else have we got in here? Rusig Nord's okay. Rhein, Ruhr, Duisburg, Bochum. I don't even remember it, so clearly I don't play it. The BR Class 20. Excellent. Got to love a 20. 363 if you like German stuff. The 313 is useful in that it adds content to the other routes. So it's a useful thing. Some people love this thing, the Mediterranean route. I'm not a fan, but that's because I don't like driving a train that just starts and runs a long way and then stops. I like doing it with freight. I'm not a fan of doing it with passengers. But if that's your thing, you might like it, because, you know, it does get pretty decent reviews. Arosa, I think, it started off in a really bad way. It's gotten better. It's not perfect, not by a long shot, but it's quite drivable. It's quite fun. The scenarios are quite good. So I reckon that one cops a bit of stick, and it doesn't need to. 187's terrible. Still. I think it's had 4 releases, and it's still terrible. The BR101, that's not the expert. That's the normal one. Hamburg-Lübeck is decent. This adds more stock to Bakerloo, so anything that does that's good, because Bakerloo's kind of fun. Dresden-Chemnitz is really nice, Taranto-Ramp. That's a nice route. I like that one. What else have we got that's nice? So this is just funny. The Holiday Express Runaway Elf. So, you know, if you're a streamer and looking for Christmas material, Peak, I reckon, is absolutely underrated. I think it's got the best scenarios in the game. Its Steam physics is TSW Steam physics. It's not very good. But if you can get past that, it's a really good route, I reckon. And it didn't sell very well, and I'm kind of curious why. I think maybe its route just disconnected from other things, so it doesn't really appeal to people as much, I guess. But I would encourage you to give it a try. I mean, you can run it for 2 hours and refund it if you're on Steam. So I would. Blackpool's pretty good. That's fun. Link Rheinstrecke, Mainz Koblenz is fun. East Coast Main Line. Weirdly, I like the high-speed runs on this one. So, you know, I'd go there. Maintalbahn I really like. I reckon it's a great route. And watch out for the turtle. If you know, you know. Aggregates. The Edinburgh-Glasgow Engineering Express Pack. Yet another 66. Yay. Tirano Ospezio. This one is quite scenic. It's quite nice, but it's a bit slow. But it does have cool things like street running. So, you know, it's useful for that. I do have a bit of fun when I play this one, I have to admit, but I don't play it very much. Five Circle and Leavenmouth, I could take it or leave it. It's in the middle for me. The Expert BR101 and the Sturwagen, if you like a complex train and you can read German, which I reckon is essential for this, go for it. If you can't read German, have a bit of a think about it, because you'll have to be, I sit there literally typing in what I'm seeing on the screen, on the false screens, into Google to translate the damn things. And then having to go and find it in the manual. So, you know, if you can read German, I reckon it'd be really good. because it's fun, but the translate side is boring. Vectron's always good. Falswitz Ludwig Span is okay for me. What else we got here? Edinburgh, Glasgow, or the engineering pack. We've talked about that before. How did we get back up here again? Did I scroll back up? Must have. Or it's just repeating stuff. I think it's repeating things. That's interesting. Cardiff City Network I quite like, because I like the 150 series of stuff. Yes, Holy Trucker, if you own everything already, it sucks. You know, you should have bought it on special. Morristown Line, I think, is okay. It could be better, this one. And I'd say it's not worth that. You want it to be a bit older in the tooth, get a bit cheaper. What else we got in here? Great Western Express at that price. Absolutely. It's not a great route right now, but it's about to be. And you're going to get that update for free. So at that price, if you haven't got it, go get it for sure. West Somerset, I really like, which is weird because it's slow, but I still really like it. I enjoy it. It's probably because I've been there and I've had cab rides on the line and things like that, so I recognise where I am. That's probably why. What else have we got? Main Bassart Barn is quite good. Oakville, with the mods that give you the passenger trains, is good. Without that, it's pretty boring. So on consoles, it's going to be boring. HMA, I know a lot of people like it though. Cane Creek, it's pretty crap. That price you can't really go wrong if you like a bit of desert train running. Clinchfield I actually kind of like. It's not that popular, but I quite like it. And Clinchfield has an experiment in it that never came out into the other routes, in that they leave the physics on for parked trains. So a parked train, if you don't put the handbrakes on, will roll away in Clinchfield. So I like it for that, but they didn't carry that on into the rest of the things, and it makes me sad. Cathcart Circle is quite okay. I use this for speed runs. My record, 13 minutes. So it's quite fun. You generally snipes 3 times the speed limit. See you later, Eddie. Holy Trucker says Samaring Bard for $4.99 is a steal. Yes. Horseshoe Curves, that one, we talked about that before. We've actually talked about it, so I don't know why it's showing it more than once, but it is. West Cornwall Local is pretty crap, to be honest. Luzerne Cersei is okay. Snellfire Castle Wurzburg, if you like high speeds, it's good. If you don't like high speed, it's not. We've talked about Crewe. Bremen Oldenburg, we've talked about. Edinburgh Glasgow, we've talked about. It's okay, that one. Salzburg Rosenheim, we haven't talked about. I think it's okay. The Overground one, it's probably okay to middling, starting to get good. Moldmay, I think, is good. And Manchester Airport Commuter is okay. So there you go. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff on sale at the moment, so worth having a bit of a look. I think we might leave the stream there at this point. It is 11:30 for me, so it's approaching lunchtime. I've got some other stuff to get done today. No, mixed reviews, huh? Well, we'll have a look at those. Because, you know, it doesn't always mean that much about having mixed reviews. Sometimes it's just grumpy people. But anyway, that's cool. So I reckon we'll leave Trent Valley there, but it is a decent route in TSC. It is on special at the moment. So if you wanted to have a look at it, you could. You get the 350 and you get the Class 66 DRS version with it. There's a few runs in there. It does support Quick Drive, I think. Let's have a look at Quick Drive for it, just while we're here. Oh, that's actually a really good TSC route, Weardale and Teesdale. Everything's manual. You got to run it yourself. You're literally running the whole route yourself. Yeah, it does support Quick Drive. So you can put anything you want on there, including Little Invincible here if you wanted to. Actually, I think Invincible's narrow gauge, so maybe not. But yeah, you can put pretty much anything you want on there. But so it does have a Quick Drive, which is good. Quick Drive, if you're not familiar with TSC, it's like a built-in timetable kind of, and you can slot your whatever train you want in, and you choose a starting position in any position and just drive it and do whatever you want. Stop for passengers, don't stop for passengers, do whatever you want. It's kind of like the free roam without the timetable in Transsim World. It does have AI trains. Some routes have better ones than others. And the time of day can set whether it's got a decent amount of AI or not too. Alrighty, I think that's probably enough for today. I will be back probably before my usual stream of Wednesday night, because I will probably stream during the week next week on some of the days when the good lady wife is at work, because she won't care because she's not here. So that'll be it for today. So thanks for joining in. Appreciate all of the commentary and the chat. I hope you appreciate my views on which TSC things and which TSW things are worth it or not worth it in the current sale. So yeah, enjoy yourselves, have fun. If you're traveling at the moment, be safe, because the world's a weird old place right now. It feels like it's on the verge of something potentially nastier. So yeah, be safe if you're traveling. Alrighty, enjoy yourselves, and we shall see you later. Bye now. That button.